Welcome to the Sam and Joe VA Show, where we teach women just like you how to start and scale a thriving virtual assistant business.
We're your hosts, Sam and Joe, and get ready to have the control, flexibility, and freedom you've always dreamed of.
Welcome to episode 193. Subcontractor or freelancer? Which is easier?
It's a question that I personally am getting asked more and more and more. And it's not a question that I think up until the last 12 months I'd ever got. Like, it's a relatively new thing that's come about, which I'm not entirely sure why. We should probably delve into that.
Yes, I've got a theory.
But it's definitely coming through DMs, emails more and more in those exact words. Like, hey, I want to become a virtual assistant. And so then I'm like, what type of virtual assistant do you want to be? Do you want to find your own clients, or do you want to subcontract to an already established VA business owner? The next thing that comes out of their mouths or their typey fingers is, well, what's easier? It's like, there is no easy, Joe.
No.
There is no easier.
Either pathway is still a whole bunch of work to position yourself to be bringing in money and get some flexibility of working from home that you've been wanting.
Yeah.
Both routes are going to need some work for sure.
100%. And I think when these aspiring virtual assistants are using the term easy, I think it's more than just easy. I think it's also they're wanting maybe the faster route.
Faster. Yeah.
Getting money quicker. Yeah. Let's take a step back, though, for those that are new, come across this episode and very, very new to the VA space. Let's talk about the difference between a subcontractor and a freelancer.
So a subcontractor means that you will be working for a virtual assistant agency. So that's a virtual assistant business that has team members. You'll become one of those team members as a subcontractor. So that agency would assign you client work. Your client would essentially be the agency. So the agency owns that client. Your client is the agency. That's who you're working for. That's who you will invoice for the work that you do, the agency. For the freelancer, it means that you're finding your own clients, you're working for them directly, and you are invoicing your clients.
Yeah. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah. So back to my theory.
Yeah, what is your theory? Why am I getting asked this so often right now?
I feel like because there are now 3 very specific pathways that we have talked about probably for the last year or two. Like, we've really defined those as 3 pathways: subcontractor, freelancer, agency. I feel like most aspiring virtual assistants kind of have a choice to make. Are they going to go in the subcontractor route, or are they going to go in the freelancer route just to get started? Yes, you could skip. That is also an episode, skipping straight to agency owner. But essentially, most virtual assistants will either choose one or the other path. And because those pathways are now so defined and so out there, we've been talking about them for a while now, I feel like that's their 2 options. And they just want to know which is going to be fastest, easiest, get the money in that they are wanting.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think there are anyone listening. If this is not the case, please let us know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I kind of feel as though there aren't many, if any, other VA coaches and mentors that talk about the subcontractor route. It's just kind of put out there. It's just assumed that the only route is that freelancer where you're finding your own clients.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely the most common route. The freelancer route is the most common.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, like, there are only so many virtual assistant agency owners or freelancers going into agency that are looking to hire a subcontractor. And, there's a lot more businesses than there are agency owners. So businesses, meaning that they could be a potential client, freelancers, like, I just think that there It's more common, and I think it is always going to be more common because just isn't going to be enough roles for all of the subcontractors or people wanting to become subcontractors.
Oh, yeah. This is definitely something that those assuming that the subcontractor route is the quickest, the easiest option, this is not even on their radar. Like the supply and demand. Is there actually enough? If we were just to talk about here in New Zealand, just as an example, are there enough VA agencies to hire the amount of subcontractors or those that are looking for subcontractor route work?
Yeah,
Like,
potentially not. So if you are going to choose the subcontractor route, you are going to be competing against others who also want to be subcontractors to go for the roles that the agency owners have.
yeah. So
So,
just like how clients aren't just going to land in your lap, they're not going to be knocking on your door. The same goes for an agency owner. There are certain things that you as an aspiring subcontractor are going to have to do in order to put your best foot forward, put yourself out there, stand out from the crowd of other aspiring subcontractors.
yeah, because I mean, as an agency owner myself, it's great that there is so many options now for subcontractors of different skills and rates and personality styles. There's a lot of option now, which is great for
Mm,
agency owners, but it's going to get even more competitive for subcontractors coming in. So if you think that that's the easiest route, well, actually, it's quite competitive. So
it is,
maybe not.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when I get asked this, I immediately go back to the person asking, saying, there isn't an easy. It's just
Mm.
different. It is going to depend on your kind of where you're sitting financially as and then that includes your goals. What are your financial goals? What do you want to get out of being in the VA space? Your personality style. Are
Mhm.
you cut out to run your own business? And then also your availability. Like you're not going to, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, have the same amount of freedom and flexibility as a subcontractor as you are a freelancer.
Yeah, I think still some flexibility, but not as much as a freelancer. A freelancer can just work whenever they want
Mm,
and make all the decisions about their working or not working. And subcontractors still actually need to deliver on what was promised and agreed with the agency in terms of like when you are going to be available, not like when you start or when you finish in a day. Like that's not what a subcontractor kind of arrangement is about. But you still will need to deliver the services to the client as agreed. And that could be that you every Friday you have to be in a meeting with the client at 10 a.m.
yeah.
Well, the agency owner is not going to be very happy with you if you're like, "Oh, I can't make it this week. Can we change it to Monday?" Like that might not be appropriate. So I think
Mm.
it's definitely less flexibility than there is with you being a freelancer.
And I feel like from the outside looking in, a kind of a trend that I'm witnessing anyway is that a lot of the VA agencies here in New Zealand and Australia as well, they're actually looking for somebody, their subcontractors, to be available like more than just a couple of hours a week.
Oh, absolutely. The most attractive subcontractors that we like to hire are those who are not looking for their own clients and like we can't stop them, but they are saying when I'm not looking for other clients, I
Mm,
want to just do subcontracting work. Great, that's a big tick. And then also that they don't have any other commitments during standard office hours during the week, that they can be available all week to do the work. So great, we can keep filling them up with more work, get them to full capacity. Like that is the ideal situation for an agency owner,
we were
in
talking
my opinion.
in your opinion, yeah. And I don't think you're the only one either. Like we're seeing the same with other VA agencies that are growing, that are in this like huge growth phase at the moment. We were talking to VA agency owner recently, Joe, who had onboarded a new team member. I can't remember how many hours that they were doing, but it didn't work out. And we're like, well, why didn't it work out? What was going on? And it turned out that the subcontractor was turning up to like client meetings and then internal meetings with their baby on their lap. Like, did the subcontractor assume because they were going down the subcontractor route that that was appropriate?
Yeah. I would say no. Like, how focused are you? You're trying
Yeah.
to do both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's touch on the kind of skills and personality that we think would be really suited, because I think it's about suitability, not
Mm,
easy.
yeah.
So suitability for a subcontractor role versus a freelancer role. You kind of touched on it, Sam, but let's go a little deeper, where the skills as a subcontractor, you need to have some kind of skills and experience in a role previously to you subcontracting that the agency is looking for. Like, you need to be in either an admin role or a bookkeeping or accounts role or something that you can actually bring into the subcontractor space and work for one of your agency's clients. So you need to have some skills. It's not like, oh, I need to develop skills and experience, I'm going to go the subcontractor route. Well, it's going to be very hard to get hired if you don't have any skills and experience.
Yes. I mean, we talk about the subcontractor route being really good for those that we can see in the future being great freelancers or even great agency owners. But for whatever reason, they're coming into this space. Possibly they've got the transferable skills, but what they don't have is the confidence. They don't have the
Mm.
confidence to put themselves out there to find their own client base. But they
Mm.
still have those transferable skills.
Yeah.
Like that's a deal breaker. Don't think that the subcontractor route is for you if you don't have any skills.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely not. I think the other thing too is that with the subcontractor route, it may be that you don't have the confidence to be able to deliver those skills and experience without any support. So subcontractor route is great for those who actually want to be able to talk to someone and get some help with something, or have some support and have some team around, where it doesn't have to fall all on you to have all of the answers. Yes, you still have to have some skills and experience, but knowing that there is someone else that you could, run something past or get some advice on and get some support with, like, that could be a really great option for you if you need that. Because as a freelancer, like, it's all up to you. You have to have the answers. You have to know what to do in situations that come up with your clients.
So if that feels like a shit ton of responsibility that you don't want any part of, then absolutely, so the subcontractor route could be very suitable for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the other thing too is that both options, you still will need to sell yourself, sell your offering, but just in a different way. So you're still selling yourself to the agency owner, being able to interview really well, having a great LinkedIn profile, having a great CV. You will still need to sell yourself to the agency owner. Freelancer, still selling yourself, but it's in a different way. You are selling yourself and your offering and your kind of understanding of the potential client. You're selling that to the potential client directly rather than doing it for the agency, but you're still doing selling. You're still selling yourself.
You're also still relationship building. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're certain that the subcontractor route is right for you, you're not just going this route because you think it's easier and quicker. So you're certain this suits me. This suits my goals, my personality, my availability, all of that. Then relationship building is definitely going to quicken the process. If you are putting yourself out there, whether that's in person or online, building those relationships with agency owners who they may not be looking to hire right now, but there's not to say they're not going to be hiring next week or next month. That's definitely going to quicken the process.
Yeah, I've absolutely hired subcontractors who have reached out directly without replying to job role, a job ad. Absolutely. I really like when subcontractors reach out because I feel like I'm opening the door for like 1,000 people to come and apply now.
Yeah,
But
watch
like, I
out, watch
really
out.
like the proactiveness that it shows, and to be able to present themselves in the best light and say, if anything comes up, like these are my skills, this is my rate, this is my availability, this is what I'm looking for. Like, amazing. You just did half the work that we would do if we were looking for a subcontractor. And it may not be that we could hire you right now, but in the future, like, at least we have all the details that we need and a great option when a lead comes through. We're like, oh, that subcontractor, let's get in touch with them because we already know all the details. Let's see if they're still available.
So cold outreach, that absolutely works for an aspiring subcontractor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting, eh? Interesting the myth or the misconceptions around what it takes to become a fully booked subcontractor. And this is
Hmm.
why it is not the easier or even quicker for some people route.
Yeah. It's just different.
It's just different. So our advice is somebody that's still on the fence.
Take the quiz. We have a What's Your Virtual Assistant Pathway quiz. This is going to have you answering, I think there's about 20 questions that is going to figure out what is going to be the most suitable, ideal option for you. Which pathway? Is it the subcontractor? Is it the freelancer? Or maybe it's even the agency owner pathway. So take the quiz. The link is down below. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Sam and Joe VA Show. If you'd like to find out more, head to the VA Foundry website to check out the mastermind and the amazing resources, courses, and coaching.
You can find us at thevafoundry.com.